That's a smooth sip of coffee. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome to Dark Horse Tackle Live. This is my Shrek mug.
All right. We are live on Instagram.
Do you like this?
I do.
Does this appease the crowd?
It's very nice. We've been notified that we're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook.
Ooh.
We got Bobby Campbell in the house. We got Scott and Todd. What's going on, boys?
Scott, Todd, and Bobby.
All right, I'm going to go full screen
Scootin' Boogie.
We got Bobby Campbell. Oh, I can hear myself.
Yes, you can.
How come?
I opened the Instagram app. Because I wanted to make a comment for JD. I wanted to put some BOOBS on the screen. Speaking of BS, here at Dark Horse Tackle, we don't do that.
No.
How'd you like that line of BS?
Wasn't bad, buddy. But yeah, welcome to 2025.
Well, actually, yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah.
Jiminy
and this is the first Dark Horse Tackle Live in the brand new year. Josh, why don't you kick us off, buddy?
Dude, new year, new gear, new companies to work with, new presentations, new techniques.
Same old
intro. Further ado. Yeah, I don't get tired of seeing myself fall out of a canoe, Zach.
Dude, that was a hell of a thing. I hope I get to experience that again. That day on the water where the rain went over us and then had a few more things to say, come back around and went over us the other way. But then there was like rainbows and stuff.
That was, dude, that day.
Bye.
Thank you, Ray. I suggest you try it, man. January is going to be for those who are confused. I sent out an email saying that the box was going to be stacked, and what I mean by that is quantity, quality, and the types of baits. Stacked is a good thing in this scenario, correct? We will have. I am spoiling it now because there's
nope.
We will have more than 5 baits.
Oh, we can say we got 7.
We will have 7 baits in this box. And honestly, it's a really cool box because 6 of the baits, like, they just mesh. Like, this is probably the most interchangeable, not necessarily interchangeable in the sense of like you can put A on C, but like it's AB, AB, AB.
Yeah.
And then we've got one outlier, which is just, look, you're going to get it and you're going to be like, weird bait for January. For 1, trust me. But also for 2, great bait all year round.
I mean, all of them are.
It might get your mind wandering a little bit.
Yeah. You need a pipe for that.
Dude, I swear to God, I tell people all the time, as much as I love smoking cigarettes outside of bars, and not drinking any alcohol, just there to smoke hey, I'm just here to bum cigarettes off people, buddy. I love a pipe. I love a pipe. I think I'm going to get into that this year. This is the year of the pipe. Yep.
At least get the ones with the bubbles.
No, it's like, you know how you have your sweet treats on the river? That will be my sweet treat. I'll just, let me grab my...
What Josh is trying to say is we're going to have a way better intro for the beginning of next year.
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you this. 2025, we've got, we're starting off with 3 new bait companies.
Yeah, 3 brand new companies in the first box.
3 brand new companies in the first box. We've got new products from companies that you're familiar with coming out in February and March. Let me tell you, March is all about banging and bashing. And dude, do we plan to do that? We're talking, we're going to put C4. That Tesla explosion in front of Trump Tower's got nothing on what's going on in March. Okay. And that's the last political event we're going to mention for the next hour. But I don't think that was a political event anyway. I think that was just a guy that was just like, I don't think it is what they say it is. I just think
exploding.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're driving a bomb.
Yeah.
But
you guys were worried about laptops. Now we got laptops on wheels.
Yeah, I remember when I was
what's up with this Elvira thing I got going on here lately? That's new. It's getting
kind of
whiter.
It is. Did you happen to
I turn my head upside down?
Do you happen to like have like an outlet plug just like
So I was hooking up electric to this.
Yeah, turns out the positive and negative just stuck right to my chin in this very specific area.
Hair can conduct.
So we've got some people here hanging out, you know. The AAA guys talk fairly highly about it, may not be able to afford the box. Hey, listen, if you cannot afford the box, we have a fully operational online store. We are an online retailer first and foremost. The subscription box and the way of the subscription box is slowly phasing out. We will always offer the subscription box, but we are Dark Horse Tackle. And what Dark Horse Tackle is everything you see behind me, Ray. I've got jigs, I've got jig heads, I've got spinner baits. I've got the bait of the month, which was the Koosh Ball Microblade. Koosh Ball Microblade. H&H Custom Baits. Koosh Ball Microblade.
That thing slams, man.
This was our bait of the week this week. I'll let you all in on a little secret for tomorrow. The bait of the week will be the Swamp Pro Bones, not only in the 3.5 inch, but also in the 2.8 inch. It is a very affordable swim bait. And this swim bait, actually, I've got some right here. If you just give me 1 second, the CFO is no, phasing out does not mean discontinued for the peanut gallery that is currently controlling my brain right now and what comes out of my mouth. Phasing out does not mean discontinued. What I'm saying is that inevitably, I want you all as customers to graduate not only from the subscription box. As much as I want you to be subscribed, I want you to check out our store.
Subscribe.
I want you to love the baits so much you have to buy 10.
Subscribe.
I want you to subscribe, and then
subscribe.
I want you to buy those baits.
I'm gonna get a little sign and just hold it up every 10 seconds.
But
hey, I've been looking for something, Josh. I've been looking for it for a while, and I finally found the thing. You know how much I like information. You know how I like books, and I do. I like to research. Well, I finally found the fishing book for 2025.
Is it
the whole thing?
Is it the one that we talked about?
Dude,
you guys are going to love this. Look at that. Look at that.
How about that?
So, one thing at Dark Horse Tackle between Zach and myself, we are not paid by anybody to say anything. We are actually paying money to go fishing. We are paying money to go fishing.
Just like everybody else.
Just like everybody else.
We can't even take baits anymore, guys.
No,
we have to literally buy our own baits.
Mom said no.
Yeah.
And when Mom says no,
be tracked. Everything's got to be tracked.
Yeah, just put the chip in my brain, why don't you? So we've got this concept, Zach and myself. We talked about it yesterday. Dude, be your own book. I want you to go out there and I want you to find what works for you. Obviously, there's stepping stones. Obviously, there are techniques that are aggrandized and they are exalted in this fishing community because they deserve to be. Dragging a jig, right? Dragging a jig, dead sticking a worm, or throwing, keeping, a drop shot, or just a nice 1, 2, 3 on a jerkbait, let it sit. Those are your very common, and it's common for a reason. But there's a lot of undiscovered techniquery, if you will. Oh, borderline alchemy.
I wouldn't say it's undiscovered. I pretty much almost guarantee that somebody somewhere
it's not
is
blown out of proportion.
Right. Well, it's not listed as this is what you must do.
And that's what we want to break away from. We want you to consider a new technique.
Yeah, we do get a box. We do get a box. We get a box.
We get a box. That's it.
A box.
That's it. This HH Custom Baits Koosh Ball Microblade has been on my rod since, dear God, it I remember talking about it. It replaced the Weed Whacker.
Since September?
I would say since October. Because, dude, October, there were some days in October, man, where we were at the Beaver River. It might have been September. There were some days in September at the Beaver River. It was damn near 98 degrees. And like my light blue shirt is a dark blue shirt. And I've got rings around my man breasts. And
oh, so you weren't falling out. You were actually jumping in because you were hot.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yes, Ned rig. We got that. We'll have more of it sometime too.
Ned rigs.
Gotta be patient. You see, a Ned rig's a perfect example of a bait that I like to fish that people don't.
Are you
like
subscribed, Mr. Bale?
Ned.
Well, we won't wait for his answer. We'll just.
Oh no, we're gonna put Nathan on the spot right now.
Yeah, this car is pulled over.
Nathan, we're waiting. But the way I fish a Ned rig is actually very similar to the way I fish a jig in the wintertime. And I was telling Zach about it. I will bomb cast a Ned rig and I will not pause this bait once. I will let it hit the bottom and I'll just hop. And I'm reeling. I'm reeling as I'm hopping, and then I'll let it sit for a second. You know, if I find it going down the water column, I'll let it sit for a second, and I'll take one big rod. I'll take a rod sweep from 9 o'clock. I'll take it like this all the way to 12, put the rod down, let it hit the bottom, and I'm back. And 9 times out of 10, most of my bites come from lifting it up, letting it fall back down, just getting it into a position where the fish is like, it's not supposed to be there. A lot of smallmouth are reactionary because they're clean freaks. They see something and they're like, why is that there in front of my face?
Yeah,
You remember when company was coming over and your mom started vacuuming the ceiling? That's kind of how smallmouth tend to be. They can be finicky. But a lot of times your smallmouth are going to hone in and go, I don't like that.
It was more like us kids whenever we heard the gravel popping on the driveway.
Right.
Reactionary. Now it's time to clean. Oh, Lord. But yeah, hey, I mean, I picked up what was it, like a Stanley Ribbit or something. I don't know. It was one of the first toads out there.
Did you ever run them underwater?
No.
Oh,
but I was running it on top of the water and it worked for a little while and then it seemed to not work as well. And then I just started running anything I felt like on top of the water.
Yep.
And wouldn't you know, guess what? It works.
Son of a gun.
Yeah. And I didn't really stop. In fact, I need to go back to running that one particular paddle tail. Not a what do they call that?
A boot.
Not like that. Like an actual like speed worm tail on top of the water because
a flapper, if you will.
Because I think that got bites sometimes when I think the diesel motor I throw now doesn't.
You know what I really like? One bait I really like that is genuinely unspoken of, that just it gives a very, very good steady retrieve is the Power Glide.
Oh, yeah.
Because glide is in the name, so you assume, right? Like you see the way the bait's designed and you're like, oh, I can't wait to work this thing like a fluke. And remember the first time we got that thing, we kind of did that, and then we just started running it on top of the water.
Well, the first thing I did with it was running on top of the water. I was like,
right.
I know what I'm doing with this.
Yeah. Yeah. And there were days, you know, when the topwater bite gets hard when you're throwing that popping toad or you're throwing a boop, boop, boop bait. You know, you're throwing some bass, but you're lacking a little bit of snare, right? And this thing just comes in.
It's like when they use that that weird little fan wire brush to like rub on the drum.
That's exactly what. Yeah. It's like whisking an egg.
Yeah.
When you could be, you're using a spoon to beat it, but instead you're like, you know what? Today I'm gonna put a little milk in the pan and just whisk it. I'm feeling crazy. I'm gonna take 20 minutes to fry an egg. But yeah, these are the types of things that we're talking about with our fishing book. Our fishing book includes a lot of things that not only will they work for you, but they do work for us. But we're never going to tell you, hey, Scott, you're throwing your buzzbait wrong because this is actually how I run it. Zach and I actually argue about this constantly all the time with the micro buzz because the way Zach likes to throw it works for him. So he does not like the fact that I run that thing on top of the water.
No, I don't.
He's like, you need to run it under the water. And he
to
runs
me,
it
it's
like,
it's a goofy looking spinnerbait.
It can be fished that way. Yes, Zach, it can be fished that way. Very good. Let's get you to bed, Grandpa. But no, when I throw a stickworm weightless, I'm running it like a topwater toad.
Yeah, there's a guy that does that on Lake Arthur. He's a buddy of mine. I call him a buddy of mine. I don't know.
He's a guy that fishes. Yeah.
We just see each other all the time. And he does that a lot. Mm-hmm. He just kind of works the stick bait across the top of the water.
Yeah. And working that stick bait across the water honestly gives a more realistic shad.
And it's got,
appearance.
I mean, that thing has zero appendages or noise makers.
It's pure hydrodynamics. It's silent. Yep. But if you get that thing, you think about it in the water, the only thing shad are giving off is vibration. Unless fish have ears and shad are just like, oh my God. We need a bait that does that. We need a bait that the second it touches water, it just starts screaming.
Isn't there one out there that does that? Livingston. Livingston lures. You can
Livingston does the
yes. You can.
And I will tell you this: there is something to it. There is. Yep. I got a bunch. I remember when they first came out. I was fishing youth tournaments, and there was this lake where you did not throw crankbaits. You just didn't throw crankbaits, man. But there was so much rock. You'd catch fish throwing spinnerbaits in the rock. But and I always loved throwing crank. Dude, if I saw a rock, I'm like, I don't care what you say. I'm throwing a crankbait. Yeah. I don't care. And I'll never forget, dude, we pulled up to this rock point. Me and my buddy had these Livingstons that we just got for free because the guy who was pimping them was at one of our tournaments. And just, hey, if you fish like me, you could drive a $300,000 boat one day. Anyways, see you later. Have some free baits. And passed them around like it was a parade. We all had our hands up. But I got just the ugliest chartreuse or citrus shad you've ever seen. Just such an ugly bait. It was back when the citrus shad used to have a red line down the middle of the bait for whatever reason.
Sounds like what you want to throw now.
It just wasn't a good looking color, but it had a disgustingly ugly bill. It was just an ugly bait.
Okay.
This bait wet and you tap both hook ends and it turns the bait on and you can hear it. You can hear it. We turn these things on. My buddy's throwing a crawdad colored one. Again, ugly, just the most generic, brown to yellow crawdad you've ever seen. Just a really, contrast wise, 100% great. I'm basically throwing white. He's basically throwing brown and chartreuse. The water is pretty much chalky milk, and we're just banging crankbaits. Dude, we pulled probably 16 pounds of bass in our best 5 just on one rock point.
What's the thing that is on the boats that makes the shad sound?
Yes, the Hydro Wave. My dad and I were talking about that yesterday. Hydro Wave, they tried to pimp it like Live Scope at a point. They tried to say, if you ain't Hydro Waving, you're hoping for bites. And it's like, what do you mean, man?
I mean, there's people that still have it on their boats. Lots of people, actually.
If it was given to me for free, buddy, I'd have it on my boat too.
Have it on the end of the kayak.
I'd have it on the end of the kayak. Well, you know what? We'll see if Drew Gregory can get how he has those 2 power pole micros. Get him to do a little hydro wave action. Just really pimp that thing out.
All I wanted for Christmas was 2 tickets to Paris, Texas, and I didn't get it. I did get a neat gift, though. Hold on. I want to show everybody. It's pretty cool.
I certainly wish.
Custom made by a small business. Look at this. Look at this deal.
That is badass.
Look at that. That's a piece of driftwood from Lake Michigan.
Who made that?
I forget the name.
Oh no.
CFO might know.
That is not what you want to. That is not what you want to hear, man.
What's up, Mr. Beeson? How are you, buddy? I don't know how anybody caught fish before the hydro wave.
Oh yeah. I bet. Sorry, it took me a second. I had it down. I had it in a box, but then I remembered.
The hydro wave?
No. Unfortunately, I have no.
That's
hydro
like on
wave.
page 3 of the fishing book for 2025.
So we got Heather's House of Glass, says the CFO.
Yeah. So guys, you want something cool? Check out Heather's House of Glass. Is that Etsy, CFO?
We'll see what she says.
Yeah.
We have got.
That's usually how asking questions on a live goes, because it usually takes some time.
A new.
Just assume.
Exclusive color.
Oh, I got another good. Oh,
And
yeah.
that
Chartreuse, baby. Chartreuse bones.
There it is. This is the Chartreuse bones.
2.8 inches.
A 2.8. We will have some in 3-inch, correct?
Yeah. Rumor has it we're going to have some in 3.5.
Beautiful. So,
yeah. There's another rumor, too.
Is chartreuse. And I would honestly say brown. I wouldn't call it green pumpkin yet. Almost there.
It's coppery.
Almost green pumpkin.
It's coppery.
But it's got copper flake in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got black. Think of coppertruce by a very large company who makes a very popular Ned rig named after a piece of excrement.
But instead, we got poopy humor and a cool name, which that name belongs to Jeff and Paul, the aggressively average anglers.
It and chartreuse. You know what? I think you screwed that up, Adam. You might want to rephrase that. Whatever you said, it just doesn't sound right.
Hey, there's another rumor. You know that little BF glide we don't have currently that's out of stock?
I've got like 3.
Do you?
Uh-huh.
I heard we're getting somebody else to paint a few of those for us.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah. One Graham Glander of Robusto Custom Lures.
Heard of him.
Yeah, that's coming. That's coming soon. Just for you guys, just for the store. Not going to a box.
Not going.
We have to wait like a year before we can do that.
What's that?
Put them in a box again.
Oh yeah, we definitely have to wait a year. You know, as much as we would love to constantly supply the box with, you know, a bunch of stuff that I gotta find the.
Who's so handsome, Saint Nick? What's up, Saint Nick? What's up, Eli? I already mentioned Carl Beeson.
Nick
What's up, buddy.
Nick is absolutely talking about Graham Glander being.
That's why Nick was on the counter at the expo like this, just looking at Graham.
Yeah, me too. But, look, this is why we have the store. If you love it so much, just come buy it. Oh, there you go, Adam. That works for me. Okay, I was hoping that's what you were trying to say. Because I was like, man, I like Adam. I really don't want to have to argue tonight. I thought he was saying if it is chartreuse, it ain't no use. And I'm like, man, that's certainly a terrible opinion to have.
Oh, by the way, Canadian boys, we got one on YouTube and one on Instagram here. Canadian boys, I would like you to know that the United States Postal Service has officially opened up shipping to Canada once again. So the final 2 December boxes in existence will finally be shipped.
We tip our hats to Justin Trudeau for taking the brave resignation that he did so the Canadian Postal Service could fully operate again. And
there you go.
Look at that.
Woo-hoo.
And yes, they were sold out for those of you. wondering. Those boxes are spoken for.
Yeah, Nick bought his like a year ago.
And Nick bought his like a year ago. You know, I like guys like Nick because Nick is a man that knows what to do with his money. And when we go to expos, this guy's like, oh, yeah, but I want one of those. I want one of those. I want one of those. I'll get 10 of these, eh? And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I save big for this.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
Hey, I don't save any money. You know where it goes? Right here in the basement. Hey, I'll tell you what. We're getting some inventory prep done for expo prep, not inventory prep. Expo prep.
Yeah, I'll be coming out to you here in like a couple days.
Yep, we gotta
tackle that thing behind you.
Oh, buddy.
I'm ready.
I don't remember it taking so long. I did like 3 separate SKUs last night and it took me like 4 hours. And I'm like, why is this taking me so
Dude, it
long?
took me and you we've probably spent like 6-7 hours on it. And then it took us and all of our staff another like 6-7 hours to get remotely close.
Yeah. Like all right.
So we better buckle down.
Sorry, City Girl on a Lake. Nick is actually from a cooler place than Minnesota. It's called Ontario, Canada. Basically Detroit, but in Canada. That's, it's funny like how close Nick actually lives to me.
Mr. Bradley, I would like to just say that the USPS has been very good to Dark Horse Tackle.
They've been very good to you.
And
don't you dare put me in that. I'm in agreement with you, Michael Bradley. Those guys
they've been very good to us.
Tell you what, every time I go there with packages in the hoppers full.
You have had to have done something to them.
There was one day I come in. Those
they have your picture underneath the counter taped.
This was
with like a Mr. Yuck sticker on it.
This was the first. Hey, listen, City Girl on a Lake. All right, Miss CFO. If Nick will tell you that was a very, you know what, you're going to meet Nick. It was a very accurate interpretation of the way Nick talks.
It really was.
So,
Nick is the least Canadian sounding Canadian I've ever heard.
It was when the first Haze box comes out. And we sold. Here was the issue we did. The issue is we shipped them out and promised them to be shipped out the same time as the subscription boxes were shipped out. So
700 boxes later.
Right. I actually had to go out to Lowe's and buy 2 of the 96-gallon rolling totes because I filled 2 of those. I bring those suckers into the USPS prepaid. And I said, hello, I have a few hundred packages that need to go out. And immediately they were like, yeah, we can't do that. And I was like, what do you mean you can't do that? And they're like, we just can't take too many packages. I'm like, I paid for them. And they were like, well, did you pay for them here? And I was like, no, I paid for them at home. And they're like,
that's a big post office too. That's like a hub.
It's a hub. Dude, they've got like 80 trucks.
There's like an airplane in the back.
This guy, it was like an 80s movie, right? Like some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles type stuff. He's like, hey, come here. And I'm like, what? And he's like, meet me around back. And I'm like, do you work here? And he's like, yeah. So I go out back. I shit you not. The guy has one leg up, one leg out, posted up, back leaning against a brick pillar, smoking a cigarette. Smoking a cigarette. And he goes like this. I pull my truck out. He goes like this. He goes, puts his hand up like a, and like cigarette. And I'm like, what's up? He's like, I could take the boxes. And I'm like,
I don't know about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. That's like Breakfast Club.
It was very much like a Brat Pack movie type thing. And I'm like, Are you sure you can take these? Like, are you gonna rob me of these hundreds of boxes? It was so odd. And then the lady comes back and she's like, oh, well, I'm glad Michael could help you. And I'm like,
me too.
Yeah, lady. Me too.
I don't know what you did, but like, I don't know. Everybody I run into, no matter which, I've gone to 3 different post offices now around my house, and they're always cool as hell and very helpful. One of them knits.
Dude, like, freaking love the cast said. Like, yeah, like there was a post office Zach and I went to, the one in Altoona. Like, we just like walked in with all the boxes, and the guy's like, oh, yeah, sure, just sit them right here. Like,
it was a wall. It was a wall of Dark Horse.
We were on our way to Massachusetts, stopping at a postal service that was 5.5 hours away from Zach's house. And the guy's just like, yeah, I will never ship through UPS because it is honestly expensive. The logistics.
Well, no,
you have to buy a specific printer, and then
they are currently 1 cent cheaper than the USPS for what we send. We could actually save cents. Yeah.
So we
except our labels, we don't have 6-inch labels. We need 6-inch labels.
A 6-inch label on that box would be so.
Oh, it's on the back. Nobody cares. It does seem wasteful though when you can put it on a 2x7. What's the square inch difference there?
4x6, 24, 2x7, 14.
Yeah. Such a waste.
Waste of space.
Waste of resources.
The stickers are kind of. Oh, and don't get me started. I believe that their international shipping starts at $40.
Oh, UPS. I don't know. I've heard different.
I believe that it starts at like $40. Yeah, listen, hey, speaking of
that
ordering,
happened to me once, man. Once.
Hey,
2-piece rods, no matter what.
I'll tell you this.
Oh, this is a single.
I'll tell you this. Back when Tackle Warehouse was like a small little conglomerate, I had some birthday money that I had spent. I was probably like 18 at the time, because there was a time where Tackle Warehouse was damn near my personality. Like, there was just a bunch of stuff that my dad couldn't get that I could. This was back before Knox Marine did a lot of stuff with Tackle anyway. Dude, I ordered like 2 rods. My dad sold the reels. He always had reels. So I got 2 rods, probably $250 worth of baits, and it said delivered. Never showed up. So I called and I'm like, hey, says delivered, never showed up. They're like, well, sometimes that happens. Give it a day, call us back. And I'm like, I really feel like these guys are blowing me off. So next day,
get out of here, kid.
I go to all my neighbors' houses because sometimes it just gets mixed up. Go to all my neighbors' houses.
Yeah, like $2,000 worth of baits gets delivered to your neighbor's house.
Yeah.
I really like your neighbor, by the way. Very stand-up, honest person.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, that guy messaged me on Instagram and was like, hey, I found your Instagram based on your name, and I see that you own Dark Horse Tackle based on your Instagram, and I've got a ton of stuff for you. So, yeah, thank God for my neighbor. But so I call Tackle Warehouse the next day, and I'm like, hey, like, it never showed up. And they're like, well, here's what we'll do. We'll send it all. We'll just send it back to you. We'll send it to you UPS this time, because they did like USPS or something. They're like, we'll send it on a different carrier. Gets there in like 2 days. Well, on the same day, I got that same order.
Ooh.
And I called them. And I'm like, hey, everything that you just sent me actually got here today. And they're like, that's weird. They're like, can you ship it back to us? And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, do you want to like mail me a shipping label and I can do it? And they're like, nah. So I got
early Amazon.
I got 4 rods and like $2,000 worth of tackle.
Hey,
like, dude, you talk about the most Cincos you've ever seen.
You just ran out of them.
That was like, Yeah, that was way back in the day. And I remember probably like 2 years later, the same thing happened. And I call them. They're like, get lost, kid. And I'm like, all right, cool. Thanks, guys.
You're trying again.
Yeah, they're like, wait a minute.
Not like
We've seen this
striking
number
in the same spot twice.
Yeah, it happens all the time, though. I mean, it was always so scary, like getting stuff delivered here for Dark Horse Tackle, because it's like, is it going to get delivered here? Like today, I got a package, and we're going to talk about it because I've been ordering some stuff off of Temu, everybody.
Oh,
But,
Jesus.
I believe that 100%, Javi. I believe that 100% about UPS. Shoot, they'd probably come pick up all the packages from my front door. But I placed an order from Temu that came via USPS today. They laid it on my stairs, Zach.
Just on the stairs.
On this, I ordered a mirror.
Not
from
like
my
this
room.
on the stairs. On the stairs. Across steps.
Across the stairs. So I texted my brother. I'm like, hey, there is a obvious package because I got a mirror for my bedroom because, well, 33 years old, I need a mirror. Okay. I'm tired of going to the bathroom. Temu happened to have it for $25. So, guys, this Temu place is insane. I do not recommend it. I do not recommend it.
What about some fluorocarbon, baby?
So I've got a bunch of new fishing line coming. And one of them is Fluorocarbon Super Premium Monofilament line, which doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't say it's fluorocarbon coated. It just says fluorocarbon with a G.
Love the cast, Ryan. Yeah. Fish USA is badass. I've ordered from them a couple times. Their customer service is fantastic. They are fantastic. And yes, they are fast.
So Temu, if you buy one thing from them, they want you to come back. So what they do is they're like, hey, we saw that you purchased this. How about all these? And it's all very similar stuff. I think I have 2 bait casting reels, 1 spinning reel. Oh, dude, I'm going to find out. He's leaving. He's done. He's done. I'm going to find out if these reels are anything close to the stuff, just any conventional tackle that you can buy. Obviously, I'm not going to be taking a Daiwa Zillion and comparing it with the $13 bait caster I just bought. But, I want to see, I'm really curious to see like what it comes close to. I have fished the spectrum of quality before from a retail standpoint. I have taken the cheapest Daiwa reel and I have taken the most expensive Daiwa reel. I have fished with the Zillion and the Steez, and I have fished with the Daiwa Aird. The Daiwa Aird was a $39 bait caster, and the Daiwa Tierra was an $80 one, and that is honestly one of my favorite reels ever made. They actually sell for like $120 still on eBay, but I want to work this spectrum of Temu just to see where this $13 bait caster is going to line up. Now, spinning gear, really what it comes down to with spinning gear is just corrosion in general. Like a lot of your high-end spinning gear stuff, it's going to be very corrosive resistant. Dude, 3 Daiwa Tatulas, can't go wrong with them.
Nice.
Honestly, if I was you, Adam, I'd drive on down to Ohio, come see your good pal Joshy. I'll buy a couple of them for you. You'll get a good deal. Might not be worth the drive.
Now. He already ordered them.
Well, he didn't tell me. He didn't tell me nothing.
It would be worth the drive, I think.
Oh, we'd make it worth the drive, man. But yeah, I just want to see where these land. I bought a rod.
Did you set up the torpedo heater out near the pond yet?
Not yet.
All right, get that thing rolling. So
yeah, we've got a video to make this weekend. I don't really know what we're gonna do, dude. You know what would be fun?
What's that?
Putting the kayaks out on Hoover.
I actually have mine in storage.
Well, that sucks.
Actual storage.
That sucks. I wouldn't worry too much about it, dude. It's probably going to be so freaking windy.
Like as in this lady I work for's garage. I put it in my half of the garage. It's not too far.
It's not too far.
Indian mom's house.
Yeah, it's just at a golf course somewhere, nice and safe. But yeah, like
there's a secret pond there at the golf course.
I know,
it's hidden in a ring of trees.
I've taken a look at that golf course, but I also, dude, I think about Hoover and I think about like fishing in the winter. Like, dude, could you imagine falling in?
No.
We die.
Yes.
Like in 20 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. No.
Maybe.
Less.
Like if we're lucky, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it'd be a bad death too, because it'd be like, I'm gonna die. And like
you'd be fighting to not die, and the die would happen.
Your body just doesn't get it. Like you're just like, come on, man. Like we got this, and your body's like, dude, you're just
we're not equipped. We're not equipped yet.
We are not. Can't go out there in blue jeans. Yeah, you should make a drive at him. You should come fish fish in some hard water to fish instead of that easy Canada stuff.
Yeah. What are you talking about, man?
Hey, man, I'm just saying, if you only get 3 months out of the year to fish, see, he just said 6 months to go. 6 months to go. I couldn't live that life, man.
Yeah, you can come fish early. May not be better.
No. Yeah, that's true. My track record is definitely not good. Kayaks on Hoover during duck season. I mean, dude, if you're shooting ducks at Hoover, you're probably all the way up north. Like, if I'm fishing Hoover right now, I'm fishing Middle Pool.
You can shoot on that lake?
That's what the creek caller says. I listen to the creek crawler, man.
I'm just saying, like,
one
here
of like
in
four
PA,
guys.
you have to be X amount of distance away
I
from
agree.
populated areas.
I don't think shooting buckshot in a general direction at a state park is a good idea. But
hey, creek crawler said it was okay. Creek crawler, we're actually gonna need you to sign a note for us.
But yeah, with my track record, it's not looking good. Definitely falling in.
The beaver isn't frozen right now.
Yeah, but the beaver's like, dude, there's some shallow. We haven't really found those pools yet where we're like,
I know where they're at.
There's that one.
There's two. There's two that we know of.
Yeah, but
there's two. And then there's always Poop Creek.
Hey, I'd do Poop Creek any day of the week.
3 months? What is these places that have seasons where you're not allowed to fish for bass?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
Like, dude, the water goes wet, I go fish.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll tell you this, if I lived in a state with any kind of regulation, I would not care.
I just go fishing anyways?
What am I going to do? I'm going to hook them in the mouth. I'm going to throw them back in the water, dude. I'm not harvesting these fish. I think it should be illegal to harvest, but catching them? That's crazy.
Well, I mean, anytime you catch them, you run the risk of killing them.
Yeah.
So I guess I get it. But bass population is not a problem.
Bass are an invasive species.
Yeah.
It is what it is. They're fun to catch. I love catching them. I love fishing for them.
Nick says you can go
pike
fishing.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm just throwing quarter-ounce spinnerbaits for pike. Quarter-ounce jigs, too. Yeah, they really like it. The 46-inchers love it when you downsize. I'm looking for the 20-inch brown pike. Have you seen it?
Hudson River. Man, I've never fished the Hudson. You know, I saw Ott DeFoe fishing on the Niagara Falls, on the Niagara River.
You know,
on a video the other day.
Ott DeFoe taught me something very valuable when I was a skittish young man. And what he taught me was...
Sounds like it's going somewhere dark.
Big fish bite in the winter. You're not going to get many bites, but the bites you get will a lot of times be quality. And if you run into a pile, or if you run into one, you're probably on a pile. And that works in basically every body of water that I've fished in the cold.
Yeah.
You know, I've a lot of times, if I go fish Hoover right now on my boat, I am going to go to a spot where I've caught fish year round, and I'm just going to sit on my graph. I'm not even going to make a cast. I'm just going to sit on my graph, and I'm going to just move around and work the contour and see if I see an arch. I do not have live scope. I do not have any kind of 3D imaging. I just have sonar that marks arches. But
dude, they got lockout tag out now. They got lockout tag out for live scope now.
What's that mean?
You know what lockout tag out is?
Like deeming something unsafe and you're not allowed to use it?
No, like when I go work on a machine, you actually have to, they have safety devices that are placed over switches. Yeah. They have, safety devices placed over breakers. Everything's locked out. It's put into a box, and then everybody working on it puts their own personal lock that there's only one key to on the box, so that nothing can be exactly lotto.
So how do they do that?
So what they do is now because these guys don't want to take their stuff off their boats, so there's a cable break, and they put a cap over it that has a hasp for a lock, and then they lock it out for like the NPFL or for the times you're not allowed to use your live scope in MFL. But yeah, they actually have lockout tag out now. It's crazy.
That's something. Look, I'll be the first person to admit it. The way sports works, the way sports has always worked, is yes, there is an element of skill, there is an element in athleticism, there is an element of knowledge. But if you do not know how to cheat and get away with cheating, you will never win.
If you don't know how to put an illegal hit on somebody,
exactly. If you don't know how
anybody catching on, or take a hit and make it look like you broke your ankle,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Which, I mean, there's some YouTubers that are good at that. They love to take a hit and act like they just got their rib cage exploded. Yeah, I went fishing against the Bassmaster Elites and they didn't like me. And that's why I didn't do too good. Maybe you got beat fair and square. Maybe you got beat fair and square by guys who are better than you. And look, man, you're better than me. I'm not sitting here saying I'm the best, all right? I'm just saying learn how to take the loss.
Well, that's like Roland Martin.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of rules made because of Roland Martin.
Roland Martin was the biggest whiny ass in the sport before.
Like, dude, he basically put like a ladder on his boat. He was standing on top of the ladder to get a better look while he was sight fishing, and they outlawed that. Yeah,
and I'll tell you this, his son ain't too far off from the tree. That's why he didn't fish pros for a long time. He had a bad taste in his mouth about pros. And I'm not saying the guys can't fish, okay? I know a lot of people's heroes. I get it. Like, I get it, man. I'm not. This is just accountability, okay? A lot of these guys, man, they didn't want to fish. I mean, dude, if I was Scott Martin, I would not want to try to step foot in my dad's shadow. I would love to get out there and fish professionally, but the second you step out there, oh, you going to be like your daddy? You going to be like your daddy? Chip off the old block? Dude, listen.
There's a bunch of them now. There, you got there's a bunch of them. No, I can't remember any of them.
And
Laker Howell, Randy Howell's kid.
Here's the thing about fishing, dude. It's not the NFL, okay? Kevin Van Dam ain't LeBron James, and Kevin Van Dam can't pop out a baby with the same love for fishing that LeBron James' son has in basketball athleticism. It is fishing. Like, it's a completely different sport. Now,
Kevin Van Dam might be able to.
I believe if anybody could, it would be. I believe if anybody could, it would be. Like, I don't remember whose kid or brother. Oh, it's Jordan Lee's brother.
Oh,
everybody was like, oh man, that's Jordan Lee's brother. He won a national championship with him. Dude, let him fish.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
I actually think that stuff like that actually it hurts a lot more.
It hurts the sport, and
not hurts the sport.
It gets in people's head.
It definitely hurts the angler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, how how would you like it, if you're out there fishing and it's like, yeah, man, you're nothing like your brother, huh? What does that even mean, dude? My brother is this is a solitary sport where we go out on our own and may the best hunter win.
Yeah, Nick just said KVD spawns to reproduce, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's clearing out of bed for his big 8-pound wife. Just fanning that bed out. His double-digit wife's coming down. Big old belly.
I was listening to BTL this morning, and I heard Matt Pangrak. He said, if you hang out with Kevin for like 10 minutes, you feel like your life is absolutely not together.
Right. That dude. And that's another thing with fishing. You look at these, dude, I'll never forget. I caught on to that a long time ago. You can tell when a guy's on fishing. You can tell when a guy's got his stuff together when he's fishing a tournament and he's in that top 5. He's got 3 rods on the boat and he's locked. Yeah. And he's locked. Dude, I'll never forget. I am not a Chris Lane fan. I will never be a Chris Lane fan. If you are a fisherman who throws a hissy fit, I am no longer a fan of you. Mike Iaconelli, you did a ton for the sport, but that time that you broke everything on your boat and threw it all in the water, I lost a lot of respect for you. Now, Chris Lane, if you watch any MLF habitually, this dude is standing on the triangle, and right here where my thumbs are at, his rods look like this.
Yes.
And he's standing in a spot that's like maybe 2 square foot.
On the team tournament, Bobby had a flip and stick locked in his hand. And that was it. I watched Chris that whole time because Bobby and Chris were fishing together. Dude, Chris must have tried like 80 different things.
Yes. Yeah, he's constantly grabbing rods. He's like, well, and he'll make one. Dude, I'll watch him. He'll make one cast with something and be like, well, that's not going to work. And it's like, dude, you threw a spook in the middle of the water and then got mad that it wasn't working. Like, just go work it for 20. He's a whopper plopper fisherman, dude. When the whopper plopper came out, it was his demise. When the whopper plopper came out, it was a lot of fishermen's demise because that bait really had a chokehold on the fishing industry, similar to the way the chatterbait does, but it's not as versatile. But it was like the only topwater bait people used for like a year and a half, 2 years. That bait
they wore it out. They wore it out.
And they wore that thing out, man. You'd watch these guys succeed with whopper ploppers, and then 2021, 2022 rolls around, and they're still throwing it, and they're like, yeah, and it's like, dude, it's still all you throw. Like,
you know what drives me crazy? You know what drives me crazy? There was a weedless version of that the whole time. It's been out forever. And it's
just not made by River to Sea.
I think it's more effective.
Oh, what's going on, Basto? But
what's up,
dude,
man?
I would agree. That bait.
Ooh, Basto, I'm gonna send you a text. All right.
That specific bait that you're talking about was, I knew how it would be the whole time. Every time I saw it, I'm like, that is one of the most ridiculous baits I've ever seen. Never thought to buy it.
Which one?
The Rage Shad.
The Rage Shad. The Rage. Is it the Rage Shad?
It is the Rage Shad.
Yeah, you're right. That's what it's called.
And no, is it? I thought
I don't know. No, I have a whole box of over here. I could go look.
Hey, look. Whatever it is. I
think it is the Rage Shad, yeah.
You know what it's going to do, but you don't buy it. And like the day that we went out together and you just trounced me with it, I'm like, I knew it would be like that. I knew it would work. And why am I sitting here mad? I was mad at myself for not using it. Like for not being, but still, dude, I mean, dude, you go to a different body of water and some guy's telling you A, B, and C. You're like, nah, dude, I'm going to do yellow, green, and blue.
No, well, the one day it was working, just not working so well. And you're like, well, why don't you throw this thing that I'm throwing, then it works. And I was like, nah. It wasn't because I didn't believe you, because I could clearly see that it was working.
Want to fish the way I want to fish?
I just wanted to throw it.
Yeah. I get it. Like
I just wanted to throw it.
You know, and
I think it's the sound it makes. It's like a siren. It's
like I knew it'd be like that. And I mean, dude, this thing, it's like 3.5 inches, and it sounds. We're
No, we can't do that.
no, can't do it.
Hey,
Can't
what's
do it.
up, Ray? How you doing?
Just started this year. I mean, dude, listen, here's the beautiful thing about bass fishing. For me, it's never been about beating anybody. Now, when Zach and I get on the water, yes, I want to clown on him. But it's not out of the masculine urge to. It is always friendly and haha, I told you so. It's more or less like childhood ego based. Like we're both the fat kid that just wants to go home if things start going wrong.
Honestly, Ray, you are at one of the best times in fishing that you will experience in your entire life.
Yes, there is plethora of knowledge out there. I mean,
you just got a fully uncolored coloring book and a whole box of crayons, the big box. Yeah.
And don't worry about coloring over the lines because, dude, we do that a lot. I mean,
coloring the lines.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, I'll tell you this. I was throwing a jig the other day. It was Christmas Day. I was throwing a jig on Christmas Day, and it was cold. It was a cold Christmas.
What trailer was it on? Which jig? What trailer?
I was throwing. Actually,
tell
I've
us.
I've got it right here. I don't have the Blue Rock chunk because that bag is actually in my fishing backpack, but I do have the jig. Because before I got my hand slapped viciously for taking 3 baits out of the December box. I didn't even get a December box. Okay, people, I didn't even get a December.
I didn't get one either.
I got 3 baits.
Miss we get a box. We didn't get a December box. Now
so I've got this little Bass Dope football jig. He calls it the football's finesse jig, and that's exactly what it is. This is a big hitter where Bass Dope lives because I know Bass Dope lives near another company that got very, very big for popularizing this. I'm not going to say they invented it because I have heard a lot of stories about who invented this particular jig. And I don't care who invented it.
They also invent the internet?
Right. I don't care who invented this jig. What I know is that this jig...
It was nice to see you, Ray.
And... this is the Black Magic color. It's just got a little bit of this like translucent, grayish, greenish, very interesting, like green pumpkin magic type deal.
His colors are sexy.
The colors are just dynamite, man.
Yeah.
And these puffball jigs, howdy doody, Zach's neighbor's dogs. So, hey, Dave.
It's that time.
This with a chunk trailer, and let me, man, I wish I had one on me. I really do, because I would thread it on there. So what I like to do with a chunk style trailer, actually, I've got one right here. This is the Nomadic XT finesse jig. I thread my chunk trailers up the hook. A lot of people like to just throw the chunk through the hook. I don't do that. You can do that, okay? Not telling you can't. I don't like to do it. I like my jig compact.
Hey, how funny is it that the neighbor's dogs start barking and the Wolf of Walmart shows up?
Imagine that. They probably smelled him. So I was taking this jig and I was working it, traditionally like you do in cold weather. I was just dragging it. Ended up hitting a pile of like good weeds, like weeds that hold heat. And, you get in those weeds and you're like, oh, there's got to be a fish somewhere in these weeds. So it just gets to the point where there's too much weeds going on with it. I pop it off. And the second I get done popping it off, I'm like, the cast is probably blown. So I just start reeling it in and I get smoked. I missed the fish, short strike, pulled my pants down, whole 9 yards. I go, okay, repeat the same cast. But this time I just reel it in. I basically drag it to where I think the pile of weeds is. And then
Josh, you can't swim a football jig.
Oh, yes, you can. You can actually swim any single lead-headed bait, period. Is it in the book? It's not in the book. Look at that. Don't you dare write anything. Don't you dare write anything in that book. Because that's the beauty of our book. Our book doesn't have anything written down. So if you actually want to tie your knot on the hook and work it this way, by all means, go ahead. So
you get snagged less.
You'd get snagged a lot less. So I just start slowly reeling it. I make a couple casts slowly reeling it. And I'm like, okay, I've burned it out.
Actually, tying onto the line tie is actually on page 3.
Unfortunately. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, I got a bite when I was burning it. I didn't get a bite when I was slowly reeling it. How can I? My guess is the fish saw this bait hopping and popping out of the weeds. And when it started going, he was like, now, wait a minute. So I hybridized both. I throw the jig out, let it hit the bottom, and I just start reeling it and popping it at the same time. This bait was suspended in the water. I didn't really let it hit the bottom until I got close to those weeds. So I'm hopping it, just suspended in the water, let it go down. And the second I let it go down and it hits the bottom, I do one of these. 9 o'clock up to 12. And as the rod tip is falling and the line is tightening back up, I make like 2 pops and that thing gets smoked.
So you Alabama shaked it and then gave it the old TikTok.
Basically. I like to call it, I put a little pizzazz on the end of it, but I like the Alabama shake. And that's, dude, wintertime is a great time to gain confidence on, I don't know who Greg Blanchard is.
Oh, I do. I heard that name just recently. I actually heard that name. Oh,
I'll tell you this.
That is. Damn it.
I'll tell you this.
Bug me. Tell me who it is, Michael Bradley. I can't remember. I know who that is.
My name is Josh Chitwood, and I like fishing. And that's it. Zach will tell you, I do not consume media. I make my own media. I should consume media. Consume
pizzazz equals Alabama shake.
100%. You put a little.
So does panache.
Ooh, a little panache.
Yeah.
With the
little panache.
With a nice little gelato filling. Woo! But
thanks, boys.
Kayak fisherman from Cali. Okay. I was not fishing in a kayak this day. I was on hole 5, par 4. That's how the winter goes, boys. A lot of hole 5, par 4s for Joshy. And I'll tell you, I like bass fishing. That's it. I like a grind when the grind is good, but I do not go out there looking for the grind. I go out there to catch fish. And grinding to catch fish, I will do it. And I will complain about it. And I will not sit there and go, that's why I do this.
Sometimes he will stamp his feet.
Exactly. There are days where I will throw a fit. Zach has seen me throw a fit. There are times where I've thrown my rod down and said, this is BS. I want to go home. But I stay. I want to go home. Don't get me wrong. I want to go home. But the second I get home, I'd rather be fishing.
Not me. So, and that's, different strokes for different folks.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. I go out there, and as soon as I'm actually happy when I'm on my way there, and I stay pretty happy the entire day, no matter what.
You drive the long way and you stay out until the sun goes down.
Yep.
That's the type of guy you are. And that's one thing in 2025 that I want to work on. I want to be able to embrace more of the adventure of it. But dude, when we get together and we've got all the cameras going and we've got the stuff buzzing, like, dude, lock in. I want to catch fish. I want to be in front of that camera going, hey.
Well, I guess
deal.
I guess you have to get better.
Hey, I'm gonna buy a drone off of Temu. They're like $13.
Oh God.
Allegedly, they shoot in 4K.
It's a glorified paper airplane with a Polaroid taped to it.
I hope so. Hey, if I can find one that can follow us and record video, I think that's just as good as one that costs $1,200.
Oh, the good one. The one I want's like $5K.
Yeah, that's just, we can't payment plan that one.
I like good tools, buddy.
A nice $250 a month for 6 years.
Like these. These are Nipix vice grips.
They're certainly a vice grip.
Yeah. They're very nice.
Temu sent me a free pair of split ring pliers too. They called them all-purpose fishing pliers. Dude, I'm so excited.
They sent you. Did they send you Vis crimps?
Yeah, made by Kerwin.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to show like everybody and show like you specifically. Dude, I bought.
What's up,
until
Omar?
the sun goes down when you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like something Zach would do. I mean,
yeah,
dude,
we had to pull the John boat up over laydowns a few
there
times.
was
or strainers, I guess that would be the
there
proper
was
term.
numerous amounts of nights where Zach and I are out fishing and we're like, okay, by the first bug bite, we gotta go. And then it's like, okay, by the 100th bug bite, we gotta go.
Okay, after we drain the first bottle of calamine lotion.
Yeah, and then it's like we're doing this and we're like, we gotta go. Dude, it's hard to leave certain places when the fishing's good. Especially when the fishing's good, and it's a place you don't get to fish often. It's
if you haven't caught one yet.
And dude, that night where we were on Lake Arthur and that guy was like definitely following us because I had caught a fish in front of him.
Yeah.
Like
the man in the red kayak.
That was so. And I'm honestly happy that I didn't say anything because I felt like I got that vibe from that guy that he would want to argue about it. Like it was so funny because like
he probably was recording actually.
Like we're talking
he
like
was recording.
Yeah. We're talking my boat's this way and his boat is like pointed this way and he hears me splat. Dude, I'm reeling this fish in and I could just see out of the corner of my eye. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Yeah. And, then, and it was like, dude, it was one of those nights where like, unfortunately, you can't sit still and you have to chase these bites because like you're in those lily pads at Arthur and it's like, poof, and you're like, all right. And then like 2 seconds later, it's like, poof.
Hey man, do you think they got like one bass that goes around and just pops?
That's Jimmy. He does that. Yes. And yes, I do. I think that one's just like, boom. and you know, but I'm throwing that big rat.
It is a break your neck kind of lake for that kind of crap.
It is. And I was throwing that big rat and it was so exciting to catch fish on that sack pig rat because like, dude, we're fishing like a lot of times for me, the way I see glide baits and big baits is like, that's a pond bait. And it is for me. It is like,
right.
I throw them in tournament situations. Like I always bring a glide bait with me ever since like 2020, 2019. I've kept a glide bait on and it is for a specific situation where I potentially can confirm that fish are suspended in the sense where they're looking up. But dude, I've probably caught 3 fish on a glide bait, like in a tournament situation.
Dude, I can't wait for wake baits.
Mm-hmm.
Wake baits
are, dude,
and frogs.
It's just wake baits are just so like, and it's funny because like that's one of the
this conversation is actually making it colder and snowier outside.
That's one of the few baits, man, that I throw on straight fluorocarbon.
Only fluorocarbon.
I don't throw a lot of straight fluorocarbon, and
dude, you need a hat that says fluorocarbon.
Yeah, I need to find me some, dude,
or like a vest or something.
I've got pink line coming in. Pink, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, dude. I'm
sure it is. The fish will think it's beautiful too. They're
it's
like,
not,
wow, look at that.
No,
line.
but it looks. It kind of looks like something that once it hits the water, it goes away. Like it looks like something like the second it hits the water, you can't see it anymore.
Okay.
Trust us, Adam. We're big frog guys. I mean, dude, I unfortunately had to retire the Toad Thumper that I first got.
I've retired 3.
I was very stubborn about it. That thing took on water about every cast, but dude, like I think there's teeth that have gone into it and just opened it up. Like I still got it too. Like I still have the bait because
my first one got retired whenever I caught my last PB. It literally I mean it was pretty beat up already, but like it pulled the damn wire through the front of the bait. Like
for fishing goals of this year, I'm not looking to crush a PB. I'm not looking. I want to get one over 8. I would love to get a largemouth over 8. I'd love to get it on camera. And I don't care what body of water it comes out of. If you want to sit there and go, that came from a pond, cool. I don't care. I caught an 8-pounder and you didn't. So 4-pound smallmouth, 8-pound largemouth. 4-pound smallmouth is going to happen.
20-inch, Josh. 20-inch.
4 pounds.
20-inch.
4 pounds would be 20 inches.
Maybe. Not really.
In a river?
The 4-pounder I caught on the
like
St.
19
Lawrence.
and a half.
The 4-pounder I caught on St. Lawrence wasn't
Dude.
20.
That's hard to freaking river. Them fish don't have to move like that. I know they're different, but
It was like this.
yeah, like, dude, you're fishing Lake Erie Jr. up there, man. Like, that thing is. I know what you're saying. I know it's a river. I know there's flow. Trust me, I know there's flow. But like, it's one of them northern bodies of water where like they just freaking get fat, man. And that one you caught at the Allegheny, that PB weight, not PB length. Was it PB weight?
It was weight.
It was PB weight. Yeah. That dude, if that fish was 20 inches, it would have been, I think it was damn near 4 pounds.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was big.
It was like 19 and a half.
It was big. And it hated the weed whacker.
Oh, it did.
It hated it.
You know, that
I can't wait to do that again, bro.
That was one of those grinds that was nice to embrace.
Yeah, we hit the spot.
I mean, like, I was getting a little like
you
you go 4 hours on a river without a single bite, that'll do something to you, buddy.
And then all of a sudden we just crossed the magic line.
Dude, I was down to the bone. I was eating my arms. I was losing my mind. That, like, literally within the first 10 casts, I had a giant follow up on a jerkbait, and unfortunately, that was a flawed product that I just couldn't. No matter what I did, and dude, I'm telling you, I put myself up there in the top 10% when it comes to baits like jerkbaits, because I can't sit still in the first place so I can get that thing to dance. But had I just been throwing the Texas rig swim bait all day, I feel like my day
swim bait on a ball head jig.
I needed it to be weedless because of those.
Right. That eelgrass was freaking a nightmare.
But I'm telling you, when I would pull it out of that eelgrass, buddy. How
about this year we go fish it when there's not eelgrass floating through the water?
How about this year we go fish it and make some money?
Oh, we can, but there'll be eelgrass floating in the water.
There will. Yeah,
that's the same time we went, basically.
Yeah, and I'm still excited for it. Like, Kayak Adventure Series, aren't they going to Pennsylvania twice, or is that
twice?
The same? It is twice.
Yeah, they're going to go to the Susky, and then they're going to, and then they're going to do the Susky in August, and then in we should go. Like, we should go.
We should.
And then they're doing like the Allegheny corridor in September.
Listen, Bass Dope, I'd love to. Yes, I will. Name a time and a place. The only thing, like, the one thing that stops us.
If we got time, we could see him before or after St. Cloud, because I really want to go to St. Cloud. Really bad.
The one thing that kills us is we spend a lot of money out of our own pockets to do these just the stuff that we sponsor, and when it comes down to fishing for fun, we just try to keep it local. You know, it's difficult for us to be like, hey, instead of going to Lake Arthur or going, buzzing around the area I live in, let's go to Chicago. Like, it's just, it's not necessarily an intangibility.
If 100 more of you want to subscribe right now,
yeah,
we could probably fit in a few visits.
The box is
and what a better way to start out the year than to subscribe to Dark Horse Tackle. Open up your fishing mind and expand your fishing toolbox.
I'm telling you, we got
Dark Horse Tackle.
We got a bait of the week. Coming out tomorrow.
Every week we got a bait of
the week.
And
every Wednesday.
Yeah, it's Josh's little thing.
It's my little thing. I will
That sounded demeaning. I didn't mean it that way, buddy.
Oh no, I mean, oh yeah, you said little thing. Yeah, yeah. It's like you know, like
we're gonna put this right here on the fridge, buddy.
Yeah. Like I love when like people are like, oh, you still doing that little fishing company? And I'm like,
that little box thing you're doing.
Like, do you understand the gravity of what you're saying? Not to mention the gravity of the things that dude, we are the one thing we realized we could never be. The only thing in this company we realized we could never be is accountants and finance people.
Yes, and that's why
that is the only thing. Other than that, we are video editors, content creators, salesmen, advertisers, freaking inventory people, loaders, order pullers, order packers. We're doing about 100 things, and there's one thing we don't know how to do. So don't call it little. It's not little. It may not be a 7-figure business, no. And if that's what you consider you're scaling for big or small, we wouldn't be a small business anymore. Exactly. I would highly recommend you understand the gravity of small businesses and what these people do.
You know what? We'll just change it to Diamond Tackle.
Oh. Yeah, I had somebody the other day, they're like, you ever been sued for defamation? And I'm like, defamation of what? And they're like, well, the name Dark Horse is trademarked. And I said, the name Dark Horse might be trademarked, but so is the name Dark Horse Tackle. And they're like, well, how can you use Dark Horse Tackle if Dark Horse has been trademarked? And I'm like, well, that's because Dark Horse has been trademarked and Dark Horse Tackle has not.
Yeah, it actually hasn't. I looked it up.
You can't trademark one thing and never let anybody else touch it. Like,
well, you can. That's what trademarking does. It's very specific, though.
The Ohio State University trademarked the word "the." They tried to.
Fluorocarbon.
They tried to trademark the word "the," not the.
Do you think fluorocarbon is trademarked?
Dude, I hope so. All you need is a little emoji at the end anyway, and people pretty much screw off. You put a little TM on there, they're like, ah. Nobody's actually doing that kind of research.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah. We did.
Yeah, they are.
That's how we're here. As little do you know, it wasn't Dark Horse Tackle at one time when it was Dark Horse Tackle.
Oh, bro, it's 17 after 9 already.
Yep, I've got an appointment with the dentist tomorrow because I don't take care of my teeth. Because why not? You could just buy new ones. So that's what
nothing to do with that crap in your mouth.
Has nothing to do with that crap in the mouth. It actually has everything to do with me getting the crap knocked out of my mouth at a very young age. And I was like, you know what? And that's my thing. I will tell you this. If any of you have started a new job or you have re-enrollment for insurance, make sure you take special attention to what hurts now. So for that, the next 6 months, I've got the best dental that Amazon offers. And then once I get back into re-enrollment, I'm just going to knock that down to like $3 a month and have basic dental. But you bet your butt tomorrow I'm going in and I'm like, hey, if I want that brand new Hollywood smile, what are we looking at here, Chief?
Dude, there's no such thing as good dental insurance. There is no such thing as good dental insurance.
We're going to find out how good we're going to find out. I am not excited though. Because here's the thing.
Dude, I can handle a lot. I really can. I can handle
a
lot
of pain. You
put
a gun to my head and I say pull the trigger. I bet you won't. But if you pull out a needle, I'm like, no.
Needles I got no problem with. I've done broken bones, no problem. I've fallen, all that stuff. Nails, punctures, all kinds of stuff I've done and I don't really have a problem. But a dentist chair and
it's
mouth
not
pain,
ergonomic, is it? Not very ergonomic.
Dude, one time I was at the dentist and I had a hot tooth and they did the root canal while it was hot. You're supposed to get it not hot with medication and antibiotics and then do the root canal. They just did it anyway. Dude, I broke the arm off the chair at the dentist office. I ripped it right off.
When I was a kid,
I was about to beat the guy in the head with it.
When I was a kid, This is actually how I learned that.
They didn't charge me for the arm though.
And this is not one of those like when I get mad, I see red type scenarios. Like this is just how I learned that I had a high pain threshold. When I was a kid, I was getting 4 fillings, and I'm sitting there, and it felt like an electric shock through my head, and I kind of twitched. And he was like, "Is everything all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can just kind of feel it." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, then he keeps going, and I'm just like sitting there, and I'm like, tears
when you go through many rounds of electroshock therapy before that, then you're kind of used to it.
Well, as a kid, you're kind of meek. You don't really know how to say like, "Hey, guy who's supposed to be doing this knows a lot more than me.
Yeah.
Can you stop
absolutely.
real quick?" And there's tears coming down my face, and I'm just sitting there. Tears are coming down my face. It's like the scene from A Clockwork Orange at the end.
Oh,
like
Jesus,
I'm just like wide-eyed.
Yeah.
And there's just tears coming down my face. And he stops and he's like, looks at his watch and he goes, "You haven't been numb for 30 minutes. And I'm like, "I know." And he's like, "We can numb you back up." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "Dude, you can get 2 toys from the toy chest when you're done." He's
I'm
like,
gonna give. Were they still giving out candy at the dentist office when you were a kid?
he gave me 2 free toothbrushes.
No, see, when I was a kid, if you did well at the dentist office, they actually gave you candy.
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
I know.
How's that for job security?
I'll tell you what. The one thing I do have a problem with though is I'm not going to be necessarily put under. So like the first time I got a tooth pulled, they hooked me up to NOS. And I was like, "Hey guys, I don't think this is working." And the guy's like, "Okay, count down from 10." And I'm like, 10, 9, Alabama. I was like, "Oh yeah, we're good to go." And he's like, grabs me by the head and slams me in the chair. And I'm like, "All right, dude, I like where this is going." I didn't feel a thing. And it was so weird. Like, I just remember talking and like not feeling my mouth move. And I'm like, "Dude, like punch me or something, man." And he's like, "I'm going to do a lot worse than punch it." Straight up yoinks it. But this one's going to be more of a, it's no NOS, which is unfortunate. It's going to be pliers and hammers. And that's
that noise, that
they're going to be pop. Oh yeah. And I'm looking.
Like I had to have a rust spot. Ground out of my eye. I got a piece of metal in it. And it's like, you're gonna feel a little pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like somebody's shoving their thumb through your head.
Oh,
like,
boy.
"Oh."
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway. I think we'll see you in 2 weeks. We're gonna have
We'll have some stuff to talk. We'll be able to go into the January box.
We'll go into the January box in 2 weeks.
We'll have a bait maker on. Yeah, I already think I know who I want to have on.
Well, I know who I'd like to have on, but I don't know if he can figure out technology. But I feel like he'd be a good old-fashioned hoot.
Could be.
I like the old guys because I resonate with the old guys because I grew up fishing around the old guys. The guys that see live scope and get mad. And they're like, "I'll show you live scope here. You come down to my home lake, we'll throw a 2.5-inch tube for 17 hours. Catch 4,000 fish." Those are the guys.
All right, buddy. That's it. I'm tapping.
All right, everybody. After we catch 40,000.
I gotta go put stickers. I gotta go put stickers on boxes.
Hey, I gotta go put stickers on packages of baits.
Many.
Yep. Yeah, you don't realize how much you have until you're like 13, 14.
Dude, it totally freaks me out looking at that I can't see all of the grid wall. I can see none of the grid wall from that shot. It's like it doesn't even exist.
It's over there.
And it's freaking me out, dude.
Yeah, if there was a way to like reverse that, I like the old setup we had where I had the tripod in the basement and then it'd be kind of in my face. But the computer is just, that's my home. I got my ergonomic.
It's your battle station. I got a battle station.
I'm in my battle station. And everybody else, you should find yourself a battle station. Create your little, focused area.
We don't do really well about talking about the things that we wanted to talk about.
Hey, man, we talked about the book being empty. We talked about, look, I'm telling you, for those that are still here, anticipate 3 things from us. New techniques, new presentations. Yes, there's a difference. And new bait companies.
That's right.
That is 3 things you can anticipate. New fish catches and new content, always. Bait of the week, every week.
Yep.
We're going to have 52 of them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you this.
There's gonna be little saucy secrets in there. There's gonna be some tips and tricks and all kinds of good stuff.
As much as I can get within about 60 seconds, because
90, you get 90.
That's right. People have a hard time paying attention. We're lucky to get 8.
Actually, I think it's
wasn't the average 11.
Yeah, and they grade you in the insights. They grade you on how many people stay past 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Work on your attention span, everybody.
Yeah, like, guys, just watch
Bobby, no. You will not have to buy new equipment. You shouldn't have to buy new equipment.
No, that like
you shouldn't. If you're super brand new, you might have to buy something a level up or a level down, but you should be able to anything that comes in the box, you can be thrown on convention.
If you're one of the guys who prefers a medium heavy spinning rod, I highly suggest you get a medium light fast and learn quick that you do not need to blast every
and then
fish.
Slap a BFS on it and call it BFS fishing.
Sure. I would just recommend a 1500 to 2000 spinning reel.
Yeah.
That's most of my look. I'll make fun of a fairy wand all day, but most of my fish catches, fish catches, come from fairy wands.
Baits are small.
Big fish baits all year long. With that,
all right,
we will see you all in 2 weeks.
Thanks for joining us. Later.
See ya.